is Professor Hollis, and we are going to begin our introduction to HTML and CSS coding. This course is going to guide you through the fundamentals of writing HTML code and CSS code. So beginning with Lesson 1, getting started with HTML. In this lesson, we're going to learn how to type HTML code, add basic elements including headings, paragraphs, and breaks, and create a bulleted or numbered list. We're also going to learn background information about HTML code language, how to write proper HTML code, and the head tag. So, the background of HTML started in the 1980s, and it was developed by a computer scientist named Tim Berners-Lee. HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language, and it's a computer programming language that defines a particular way to type text commands that a computer can then interpret to display content on a web page. HTML started out very basic, but it has evolved through the years to include a lot of different tags. Hypertext refers to the ability for one HTML web page to link to another through a specified selection of text on the web page. You know this as a hyperlink or a link, and when you click on a link, it will take you to a different HTML page. HTML is referred to as a markup language because style can be applied to it. This includes changing the color, size, or font type. And the way that we apply that style is using the other language called CSS. When using HTML, the way in which code is written is critical. It's very important that you don't have any spelling mistakes and that you have the correct formatting. Even a comma or some kind of little arrow or any space is going to count as part of your page, and so if you have any errors in that, your page will not operate correctly. It is very important to learn the correct way to write HTML so your code will always be valid. So the basis of HTML is the HTML tag, and every page starts with an HTML opening tag and ends with the closing tag. Tags specify which elements are to be created in an HTML page. Tags always begin with a left angle bracket followed immediately by the tag name and then a closing right angle bracket. For a piece of code to be valid or correct, there must be both an opening tag and a closing tag. An opening tag consists of the left angle bracket, the tag name, and the closing angle bracket. So the arrows wrap around the word. A closing tag will contain an additional slash before the tag name. So you put the slash and then the name of it. Both the opening and closing tag would be paired together like this with any content contained in the middle. So whatever the tag name is goes here with the opening tag, and then you put what's inside of it, and then you put the closing tag. Here's a practical example by using the heading tag. So the H1 tag goes before the title, then you have the title of the web page, whatever that might be, and then you have the closing H1 header tag. So I'll give you a little example here. I'm going to switch over to Atom, and let's just do a new file. Okay, so this is a blank file. I'm going to save it as example.html to show you. and that'll show up over here. Okay, so a typical HTML page is going to have the HTML tag at the very start of it. And typically when I go in and type this, I go ahead and put the closing HTML tag at the end so I don't forget about it. And then everything in my HTML document goes in between those two tags. So the example that they just gave us in the book is the H1 header. Typically, a header of any kind is going to be contained inside of a body tag. But for now, I'm just going to show you just that H1 header. So I'm going to type the opening arrow, H1, and then let's just say the title of my page is teacups. So then I'll type that, and then I will type the closing tag /H1. And this program called Atom is helping us to write our HTML tags. There's a various number of programs that can help you do that. So there's TextEdit if you're on a Mac, there's Notepad if you're on Windows, or you can use a program such as Dreamweaver. All of those programs will help you to write code. Okay, so this is how you would create a H1 header. Tags are not case sensitive. You can use a lowercase h or an uppercase H, it doesn't matter. Typically I use all lowercase just to be consistent. Attributes can also be added to the start tag. Attributes allow you to specify additional details about an element. So something like the color of it, or the size, or maybe if it has a specific name or something. To add an attribute, start with a complete tag set: start tag, content, and end tag. So like we started with. But right after the tag name, you add the opening tag name, you add a space, and then you can type an attribute. So for example, H1, they did a space before they closed the arrow, and then width equals 20 pixels. So this H1 header is going to be 20 pixels wide. So if I were to do that to mine over here, I would just go after the one on the opening tag, space, and these are all attributes that you could possibly add. So width is one of those, so let's just stick with that. Width equals, and then in quotation marks, 20 px, and then you can close your tag, your opening tag. Okay, so you can add attributes to any HTML tag. So typically we view websites in something called a web browser. And what a web browser is, it's a computer program that allows a computer to access and interpret the HTML pages across the internet. According to a standard set of rules, the browser will convert the text code in an HTML file into a readable interactive web page. Every web page built in HTML contains the same set of initial high-level tags to ensure necessary information gets sent to the web browser. So there is a standard across all websites. The first tag to appear is the HTML tag. That's like on mine, I put it up here in the very top. This tag tells the browser that the code is written in the HTML language, so the browser knows how to read it. Everything that is written in an HTML file will be in between the opening HTML and the closing HTML tags. The head tag is the next most important tag. So when you're creating an HTML file, let's go ahead and delete this right here. Okay, so HTML is our opening tag. The next most important tag is the head tag, and it's going to go right below the HTML tag. And then you can press enter a few times and do /head to close it out, just so you don't forget. So the head section of an HTML document is very important. It contains information that the browser uses, not content. So people are not going to see what is inside the head tag except for the title. A variety of tags can be used in the head to define things such as character sets and style guides. Typically, the one tag that you will see in the head section is the title tag, and that is going to title the top tab in the bar. Okay, so this title right here that says customizable courseware, that will define the title of the page, which appears at the top of the browser window. So if I want my little tab in the browser to say customizable courseware, this is how I do it. I create a title tag and I type what I want to see up there. And then I close my title tag. And that creates the title in the browser tab. Okay, the next most important tag is the body tag. And the body tag contains the actual content of the web page that you're going to see. So things like paragraphs, lists, images, links, and more are placed inside of here. Most coding work takes place within the body tag. So if I have my head tag and I'm going to put some other stuff inside of there, I'll just leave it open. Then I close the head tag. The next tag that I want to include is the body. And the body is all the information that you're going to see. And I'm going to go ahead and close the body tag at the bottom of my document, but before the HTML close. Okay, so the HTML close tag is the very last thing you should see on the bottom of your page. So inside of the HTML tag, we have head and we have body. And then inside of the head, we have title. Okay, and that's called nesting, when you nest the tags inside of other tags. All right, so most coding work takes place within the body tag. Okay, we're going to move on and learn about headings, paragraphs, breaks, bold, and italics. So the heading tag is the H1 tag that we were using earlier. Headings are larger, more prominent sections of text that often serve as titles and subtitles on a web page. HTML recognizes 6 levels of headings, with H1 being the largest and most prominent, and H6 being the least prominent. So you can use all of those for different headings on your HTML document. To add a heading, start by locating the body tag. On an empty line between the start and end body tags, type the start tag for a heading, which is H1 for heading level 1. So I'm going to go here right after the opening body tag. And for me, I like to indent, so I'm going to press tab. And then I'm going to start typing H1, so heading 1. And if I press enter there, Adam is going to assist me with that. And it's actually going to automatically write the closing tag. So if you like to do that, you can, or you can just type out all the code. Just watch for errors because it's really easy to make a mistake. So if you start typing H1, then you type the text for your heading directly after the start tag, and then you put the close tag. So in between the opening and closing tags, you would type whatever you want the heading of your page to be. Okay, and this is what you're actually seeing on the document, not what you're seeing as the title in the browser. Okay, then we make sure our H1 close tag is there, which it is, and we're good to go. So that creates a heading. Plain text is added to the page by containing it in a paragraph tag, as you can see here, using the opening P and the closing P. The content of a paragraph is contained in between the opening and closing tags P. The break tag BR can be helpful in formatting paragraphs and other elements. Adding a BR tag will insert an extra line break in between elements. The break tag is an exception in that it does not need an end tag with a slash. So all you need is this right here to do a line break. So let's say I wanted to add a paragraph to my document. So I'm going to say, this is my paragraph. Do you like it? Okay, and then I close my paragraph. Now let's say that I wanted do you like it to appear on the next line down. So to do that, I am going to add the BR tag in there, just like that. And you can have spaces on either side or not, it doesn't matter. But this is going to place a line break. And then do you like it's going to appear on the next line in the browser. Okay, so BR tag is a line break. Multiple break tags can be placed in succession to create multiple break lines. So if you want a little bit of a gap between your header and your paragraph, just put a few BR tags. Text can be made bold by enclosing it in the strong tag. The strong tag conveys importance or seriousness. The text goes in between the start and the end tags. So if you want something to be bold, like in Microsoft Word, when you click the B, this is what you use. You put strong in front of whatever it is, and you put /strong after whatever it is. So let's say we want paragraph to be bold. We're going to go in here and type a strong tag. And then after it, we'll type a /strong tag. I don't know why I pressed enter, so it's helping me do it. Okay, so strong tag, paragraph, /strong. So this word right here and the period are going to be bold when I preview it in a browser. If you want something to be italicized on your page, you may enclose it in the emphasis tag or the EM tag. The emphasis tag is used for words or text that needs to be emphasized. Text goes in between the start and the end EM tags. So let's say we want like to be emphasized, EM, and then after that is /EM. Now we'll wrap it to where just what's inside of here, inside of the tag, it's going to be italicized. Okay, and then the last section of this, we're going to learn about creating ordered lists, unordered lists, and adding list items. So ordered lists look like this, 1, 2, 3, 4. It appears on a web page as a numbered list. Each item is preceded by a number that increases with each list item. Used when the order of a list of content is important. By default, an ordered list will use a number followed by a period for each list item. So it's going to put the numbers in there for you. You don't have to do it. The tag for an ordered list is OL. An unordered list will appear as a bulleted list. It can be used for data that does not have a specific order, and where list items could be rearranged in the list without impacting the clarity of the data. By default, an unordered list will use solid circular bullets. The tag for an ordered list is or an unordered list, sorry, that's wrong, is UL. So here's an example. To add items to a list, first start with either the tag for an ordered or unordered list. So you have to decide, do you want ordered or unordered? Start a new line by clicking enter. Now type the LI tag, the tag for a list item. So the items in your list have the same tag. They're called LI tags. But first you have to decide, do you want an ordered list or an unordered list? So I'm going to go with an ordered list. So I'm going to type OL. And then just so I don't forget, I'm going to go down here and type /OL at the bottom. Okay, now inside of my list is where I put my list items. So list item is the LI tag. So if I'm making an ordered list, let's just say I want to do colors. And I close out my list item. Then I need to do another list item. And then another list item. Okay, so you can add as many list items as you want. You do not have to type the number in front of the list item. It does that automatically because it's an ordered list. Okay, if you want an unordered list, you will simply use the UL tag instead of the OL tag. But the list item tag is the same. You still use list items. And so on and so forth. Okay, and I can actually copy and paste this. I don't have to retype it. But I'll just do that real quick. Okay, so this list is going to have numbers in front of it. 1, 2, 3. This list is just going to have bullets in front of it. Okay, so the next thing we're going to learn about, so we have our list items. You can add as many list items as you want, and then you have to make sure you close out your ordered list or your unordered list. Okay. So that's all we're going to be talking about for lesson 1. You were introduced to HTML coding by learning some background information, the proper spelling of HTML tags, and the initial tags in an HTML web page. You also learned the fundamental text and formatting tags in HTML, as well as how to create a list. Okay, so that's the end of lesson 1. Now go ahead and do the activities associated with lesson 1. So there's 3 activities, and I will see you back here for lesson 2.